There's a plant growing through concrete in your neighborhood right now. Pharmaceutical companies extract its compounds and sell them for $40 per bottle. Your neighbor just paid $5,000 trying to kill it. In Japan, they eat it for breakfast. It contains more resveratrol than any other plant on Earth. That's the same anti-aging compound found in red wine that everyone talks about. But this plant has 100 times more. It's not the inactive form, the trans-resveratrol, the active form your body can actually use. Herbalists use it to treat Lyme disease. Stephen Herod Booner built his entire protocol around it. Over 100,000 people have followed his recommendations with documented success. But in America and Britain, it's classified as one of the world's 100 worst invasive species. In the UK alone, the government spends over $200 million every year fighting it. Homeowners spend up to $25,000 removing it from their gardens. Mortgage lenders reject properties that have it. If you let it spread to your neighbor's land, you can face lawsuits and fines exceeding $20,000. In some places, planting it carries jail time. This is Japanese knotweed. In its homeland, they call it Itadori, meaning take away pain. For thousands of years, it was food and medicine on volcanic slopes where nothing else would grow. Then a Victorian botanist sent it to the West as a gift. The year is 1823. Philip Franz von Siebold was a German physician working for the Dutch East India Company in Japan. For 6 years, he obsessively collected native plants, hostas, hydrangeas, camellias, all the garden favorites the Western world would fall in love with. Among his specimens was a hardy plant from volcanic debris fields. It grew where other plants failed completely, stabilized eroding slopes after eruptions. The young shoots tasted like rhubarb. The roots were considered powerful medicine. In Japanese and Chinese traditional medicine, Huzhong treated skin infections, heart problems, and liver ailments. Von Siebold saw profit. He returned to Holland in 1830 and founded a commercial nursery. He marketed Japanese knotweed aggressively. The asking price, 500 francs for a mother plant. For context, the same money bought 250 hydrangea plants. His catalog promoted its vigor, ornamental value, and medicinal use. It praised its ability to protect young plantations from wind and sun. He even offered a 25% discount to botanical gardens, specifically to spread it faster. He wanted it everywhere. In 1850, von Siebold sent an unsolicited package to Kew Gardens in London. It contained 40 Chinese and Japanese plant varieties, among them Japanese knotweed. Kew Gardens distributed it to other institutions. By 1854, commercial nurseries were selling it across Britain. By the late 1800s, it had crossed the Atlantic to the United States. Gardeners absolutely adored it. They called it Mexican bamboo or fleece flower. Garden magazines recommended it for graceful foliage and described it as the easiest grown plant for city gardens. Even famous landscape architects included it in their planting lists. Railroad companies planted it along embankments to stabilize soil. Coal mining valleys used it to hold eroding slopes. Farmers fed the young shoots to cattle. Von Siebold's catalog listed its nature as inexhaustible, impossible to destroy. He marketed this as a benefit, a feature, not a bug. By 1900, Japanese knotweed had rooted itself in Western soil. From the backyards of England to the riverbanks of the Pacific Northwest. And then they realized what they had done. Botanists kept changing its name. Falopia japonica, Renutria japonica, Polygonum cus pedatum. They couldn't quite believe what they were seeing. The plant grows 4 inches per day. In ideal conditions, 8 inches. It reaches 10 feet in height. The rhizomes spread 23 feet in all directions and 10 feet deep underground. One tiny fragment of rhizome the size of a fingernail regenerates into a full plant. It grows through asphalt, through concrete, through building foundations, walls, and floors. Here's what makes it even more terrifying. All Japanese knotweed in the West descends from a single female specimen, the one von Siebold brought back. Every plant is a clone, genetically identical. They don't produce viable seeds. They spread entirely through rhizome fragments. One broken piece thrown in a river. One contaminated load of soil dumped at a construction site. One tiny fragment in garden waste. That's all it takes. In its native habitat in Japan, China, and Korea, natural predators keep it in check. Flea beetles, fungi, volcanic ash limits its growth. The plant evolved for volcanic debris fields where soil is thin, nutrients are scarce, and competition is brutal. It was designed by evolution to colonize the most hostile environments on Earth. Fresh lava fields, volcanic rubble, places where nothing else survives. In America and Europe, the landscape is predator-free paradise. The plant faces nothing. No natural enemies. No volcanic ash to slow it down. Just rich soil, regular rainfall, and zero competition. It simply grows and grows and grows. By 1930, people recognized it as a problem. By the 21st century, it had infested 42 states in the United States. In the United Kingdom, surveys estimated that 1 in 20 residential properties are affected. Then the lawsuits exploded. A landmark ruling granted damages to homeowners whose property values dropped because of knotweed. Now property owners can claim massive settlements if knotweed encroaches from neighboring land. Cities began issuing criminal citations to force landowners to remove it. In the UK, it's illegal to plant Japanese knotweed. It's illegal to cause it to grow in the wild. The penalty: fines of thousands of pounds or even jail time. Mortgage lenders reject properties with knotweed unless there's a certified management plan. A 10-year herbicide treatment plan costs thousands. Full excavation costs up to $25,000. And here's the insane part. The plant is classified as controlled waste. You cannot throw it in your trash. You cannot compost it. You must either incinerate it, microwave it, or transport it to a licensed hazardous waste landfill facility. The global economy loses billions per year controlling this plant. In 2012, nearly $90 million was spent removing knotweed from just the Olympic Park site in London. One location. $90 million. The UK government spends over $200 million annually fighting it nationwide. Homeowners collectively spend hundreds of millions more. Property values drop 5 to 10% when knotweed is discovered. Insurance claims related to knotweed damage run into the tens of millions. The total economic impact is staggering. And the entire time, this plant is both edible and medicinal. The young shoots taste like lemony rhubarb, slightly earthy, less acidic. Harvest them in early spring when they're 1 to 2 feet tall. The stems are hollow like bamboo, tender and crisp. In Japan, Itadori is foraged in spring like Americans forage for morels or ramps. The young stems are eaten raw, grilled, sautéed, or pickled. High-end restaurants serve it as a seasonal delicacy. In Vietnam, people eat it regularly as a spring vegetable. It's not strange, it's not desperate, it's just food. But you have to know what you're doing. Only harvest from areas not sprayed with herbicides. The plant contains oxalates like rhubarb, which may cause gastrointestinal distress in some people. Cook it to reduce oxalate content. But the shoots are just the beginning. The roots contain something extraordinary: resveratrol, a polyphenol antioxidant found in red grape skins. The compound people credit for the health benefits of red wine. Japanese knotweed root contains the highest concentration of resveratrol of any plant on Earth. But it's not just quantity, it's quality. Not just resveratrol, trans-resveratrol, the active isomer, the form your body can actually absorb and use. Many plants only contain cis-resveratrol, which is far less bioactive and poorly absorbed. The roots also contain amidon, polydatin, and quercetin, all bioactive compounds with documented effects: antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, cardioprotective, and neuroprotective. Studies show resveratrol affects all stages of carcinogenesis: initiation, promotion, and progression. It doesn't just prevent cancer from starting. It may slow its growth once it's begun. Research on hypertensive rats showed it lowers blood pressure significantly. Research on diabetic mice showed it lowers blood glucose levels. These aren't fringe studies. These are published in peer-reviewed journals. But here's where it gets really interesting. The compound crosses the blood-brain barrier. Very few compounds can do this. Your brain is protected specifically to keep most substances out. Trans-resveratrol gets through. Once inside, it protects neurons from damage, reduces inflammation in brain tissue. It may slow neurodegenerative diseases. Stephen Herod Booner, an American herbalist and researcher, developed a natural protocol for Lyme disease that's gained massive following. The core of his protocol is Japanese knotweed root. According to his research and the clinical experience of practitioners using his protocols, it kills Borrelia burgdorferi, the bacteria that cause Lyme disease. It crosses the blood-brain barrier to reach Borrelia, hiding in neural tissue. It protects the nervous system from damage. And it inhibits the autoimmune processes that cause many Lyme symptoms. Booner's protocol has been used by over 100,000 patients. Many Lyme-literate doctors now incorporate it alongside, or sometimes instead of antibiotics, especially for chronic cases where antibiotics have failed. This isn't fringe medicine anymore. This is documented, tracked, and increasingly accepted in integrative medicine circles. Pharmaceutical companies know all of this. They extract resveratrol from Japanese knotweed roots and sell it in capsules. $40 for a month's supply. Sometimes more. They don't tell you where it comes from. They just call it resveratrol supplement or trans-resveratrol complex. But read the fine print. The source, Polygonum cuspidatum, Japanese knotweed. The plant your neighbor is paying $5,000 to kill. The plant mortgage lenders reject. The plant that costs governments $200 million annually to fight. Pharmaceutical companies are harvesting it, extracting the compounds and selling them back to you at a massive markup. Let's review the absurdity. A plant grows through concrete. Contains compounds proven to lower blood pressure, reduce blood sugar, fight cancer, cross the blood-brain barrier, and treat Lyme disease. Japan eats it for breakfast. Vietnam considers it a vegetable. Traditional Chinese medicine has used it for thousands of years. But in the West, we spend billions trying to eradicate it. We jail people for planting it. We reject mortgage applications because of it. We classify it as hazardous waste. Then we extract its active compounds and sell them for $40 per bottle. The same compounds from the same plant that's growing for free in every temperate region of the Western world. So why the intense hatred? Part of it is legitimate. The plant genuinely damages infrastructure. It does grow through building foundations. It does reduce property values when discovered. But there's something else. Japanese knotweed represents loss of control. It cannot be stopped with conventional methods. It cannot be killed easily. It spreads despite our best efforts. For a culture that prides itself on dominating nature, on controlling landscapes, on managing everything, Japanese knotweed is an insult. It wins, and we can't stand that. So, we declare war. We spend billions. We criminalize it. We classify it as hazardous waste. We convince ourselves it's an enemy that must be destroyed at any cost. Meanwhile, we ignore that it's medicine. We ignore that it's food. We ignore that pharmaceutical companies profit from it while homeowners pay thousands to remove it. In 1850, Philipp Franz von Siebold sent Japanese knotweed to Kew Gardens as a gift. He marketed it as indestructible. He wanted it to spread. He got his wish. By 1900, it was in gardens across the Western world. By 1930, people recognized the problem. By 2012, London spent $90 million removing it from one site. Today, it infests 42 US states and 1 in 20 UK properties. Governments spend $200 million annually fighting it. Homeowners spend $25,000 on removal. Mortgage lenders reject properties. Lawsuits award massive damages. It's illegal to plant. Illegal to allow it to spread. Classified as controlled waste. Penalties include fines and jail time. All for a plant that's been food and medicine for thousands of years. A plant with 100 times more resveratrol than red wine, that crosses the blood-brain barrier, that treats Lyme disease, that lowers blood pressure and blood sugar, that fights cancer at all stages. Pharmaceutical companies extract these compounds and sell them for $40 per bottle. The source: the same plant we spend billions trying to kill, the same plant that's illegal to grow. The same plant classified as one of the world's 100 worst invasive species. In Japan, they eat it for breakfast. In Vietnam, it's a spring vegetable. In China, it's been medicine for millennia. In the West, we've been convinced it's the enemy. The question isn't whether Japanese knotweed is problematic. It is. The question is whether the hysteria serves anyone except those who profit from both the eradication industry and the supplement industry. The plant that grows through concrete. That pharmaceutical companies mine for medicine. That your neighbor pays thousands to kill. It's not going anywhere. It's literally impossible to eradicate. Maybe instead of spending billions fighting it, we should remember what it actually is. Food, medicine, a gift from volcanic slopes where nothing else survives. If this story made you question what else we've been taught to hate that might actually be useful, share this video. More people need to see the absurdity. Subscribe for more investigations into invasive species that are actually food and medicine we forgot how to use. The next revelation is already breaking through concrete. Japanese knotweed is still here. Still growing. Still offering the same compounds pharmaceutical companies extract and sell. Still illegal to plant. Still costing billions to fight. The gift von Siebold sent is still giving. We just forgot how to receive it.